All right, guys, I'm back. Crude oil coming out, and really, I think they forgot to send out the memo because I don't see any reaction at all, and this has kind of become typical. So in case you don't know what we do, we wait 2 minutes and then look for a trade. So now crude's starting to move a little bit. I really don't know where to mark the reaction. There wasn't one. So this is the bar that the report came out on, so I guess a little bit of a delayed reaction. We'll just mark that right there and then mark right there. It's a pretty tight range, but that's my best guess. We are trending upwards a little, just not a lot of movement. That is a possible long trade, 40.13, but we're going to have to wait for another 15 seconds. So 40.13 is the long. The stop would be at 93. Comes back up. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will. And now we have a short. So the short is at 39.99, and that's the trade. 39.99, and that's targeting 74, and the stop is at 21.
Order filled.
Just triggered in. No long trade. Finding support at the 50 isn't a good thing. I mean, it really needs to close below that level, and you'll see that it's trading still inside of that tight range of the reaction. Now, it did fail to make a new high here. Let's see if we could push lower. Money management would be at 83. I don't like the incline on the moving average and finding support there, so we really need it to make a lower high and then push lower. And right in the middle of that real tight, crappy reaction range, and the risk is that it just falls asleep again. And then we might have to start worrying about a stop and reverse, and let's just hope it pushes lower. Roger, you a new goodie coming up? Well, I was talking about a day trade alert service with the pound Aussie, which is coming soon. So there's a stop and reverse. That was predictable, but that would be at 16. Worst case scenario was that. Let's hope it instead cancels and goes lower, but that would be targeting 33 and the stop would be at 90. One more close below the line here and we'll cancel that stop and reverse. So looking like, there it is. So we're going to cancel the stop and reverse and stay short. And now let's see if we can get through the 200 moving average, trying to get to 83, and there it is. Move your stops down and lock in your one tick. Now let's see if we can get to our full target without stopping out. So we're at a risk-free position here. Let's see if we can work our way lower. Get that full target, nice 25-tick target. So meanwhile, you can see the 5-tick momentum bar has hit its targets, and you got the 8-tick momentum bar also coming down and hitting its target one objective. So those two have hit power of quitting already. Now we just need Counter Punch to kind of deliver the goods. Kind of stuck on that 200 moving average. Let's hopefully that becomes resistance. I'm even going to move my target up to 75 just in case it pushes lower, because that is always a bounce number. But not looking good here. This is not a good sign. We're going to stop out at break even at this rate, unless the 50 puts up a roadblock with that balance line also. Yeah, this is if we got to close below the 200 and after trying to push higher, if it closes down, yeah, see it closed above. Not good. Last line of defense right here, the balance line. Not good, guys. We need some luck here. We're not going to get it. I'm pessimistic on this trade. Hope I'm wrong.
Order filled.
Yep, it is what it is. That sucks. All right, a long trade, this time at 40.01. That one's targeting 40.17, and the stop's at 79.
Order filled.
So money management is at 40.11. It's got to go one tick past target 1, and if it can get there, we'll at least have our power of quitting trade regardless of the outcome. Maybe the failure to get lower pushes us higher, and that is a free trade now. Make sure you get that stop moved up. Let's see if we can get to our target. But for sure, we've got a risk-free trade and power of quitting. At the worst case scenario, we break even. Best case scenario, we hit our target. The way crude oil has been lately. Oh, there it is.
Order filled.
Could I get filled, please? There we go. All right. So power of quitting, it took 2 trades. I'll take it. And now, remember, the failure to get lower sets up the strong move in the opposite direction. Definitely wanted that second trade. And now the, pushing through target 3 and trailing. So 40.12 is the trailer. And now moving higher, 0.14. Go, baby, go. You're trailing. So just, pushing to new highs for the session. And get ready for your stop to move up to 19 when this bar closes, as long as it closes above that signal line. So there it is, 40.19, and moving higher. Now it's 40.24, and soon will be 40.27, the close of this next bar, if it's above the line. So get ready. 40.27, move your stop. Still climbing. That was worth a break-even short trade to pick up a long like this, don't you think? 40.27 and possibly going to 40.32. Let's see where this bar closes. If it closes above the line, move your stop to 3.2. There it is, 3.2. Move your stop. Grab that money. 40.32. Still 3.2 and
Order filled.
done. 40.32. That's it, guys. That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the session. What interesting is you hated the price action. Yeah, so Anthony said, I did hate the price action, but there were some things that occurred. Well, first of all, there's a couple things that happened. That first trade, when it set up, look, I'm not overthinking things because I've learned you just take the printed trade. You can think your way through anything you want, and you're probably going to be maybe 50-50 at best. So there's no point in thinking because the odds of the strategy outperform your thinking. And I learned that years ago. But still I think, but I do take the trade. So I'm looking at the higher lows, the lower highs, and then the short. And what worried me was the support on the 50, but there's no choice in the matter because the trade set up and then the confirmation came with our histogram, and that's why the targets came 1 bar later, and the price was below the entry. And what are you going to do? If you're just going to not take trades, you might as well throw the trade plan out. Now you got nothing. So that's the problem with overthinking. Took the trade and was worried about the stop and reversal. And I said that to you before it happened. And then it happened. But it was just a setup that canceled. So we stayed short, and it even pushed through the 200. It just could not get through the 80-cent level. And it didn't get far enough for us to take profit because with the 377 tick, we just don't take profit at target 1. With 16 tick target, maybe you want to. You could, but that's just not how we do the plan. We go for target 2, right? It's just basic counter punch trader trade plan. And it's worked so well. So that's what I did, and we pushed our stop. Then it stopped out. We kind of saw it coming. It looked like it had a chance right in here, but once it started closing above the 200 and then the 50, and it was like, okay, this trade's doomed. So then that got me thinking. The failure to get lower through support with no follow-through, as I've always said, and we always talk about it almost every single session, could often lead to a strong move in the opposite direction. So when that next trade came, there's just no thinking. If you're committed to the plan, you place the trade. That's it. We're at the right edge of the chart. No one knows what's going to happen next. Yeah, it's really nice to think that the failure to get lower through support with no follow-through will lead to a strong move in the opposite direction. That's a good boost of confidence. That doesn't mean that's going to happen, and you still have to take the trade because that's the trade plan. Plus, I'm looking at this ascending trend line here and getting long, like right at that line, and it could have easily triggered in, stopped at that trend line and headed lower. It could have done that. But what I find to be just a real strong concept, and hopefully you guys see this too, the failure to follow through when breaking support or resistance often leads to the strong move in the opposite direction. And you see that all over the chart. And so I was confident in this trade, and then it kind of gave us a strong move in the opposite direction. Not only that, but this is something else I was seeing. I didn't have the time to really explain it to you at the time, but I can show it to you now, and that's this. How many times have you heard me say action, reaction, subsequent action? It's not always clear because it sometimes happens on a higher time frame. And so you get a bunch of messy bars on the faster time frame. But you get the action move up, and then you have a reaction that's 1 to 2/3 the action. Well, this is a pretty messy reaction. Kind of goes to there. That's between the 1/3 to 2/3 of that first action move, which sets up a subsequent action move, which tends to mirror the first action move. So all this is kind of happening, and with Counter Punch, it's just giving you the trades, but it's kind of in sync with this typical price action dynamic that we see all the time, right? And when you got your trade plan trades syncing up with your typical price action behavior, that's not a bad thing. Action, reaction, subsequent action. The subsequent action tends to mirror the first action. The immediate past, this, predicts the immediate future, this. Those are all my concepts. I didn't invent those concepts, but I did appropriate them. Went higher, not much. Kind of perfect, right? Talk about two perfect action moves, one mirroring the other. A trade a day and you're on your way.